top 5 most pivotal players in UNC at Duke on Saturday. First, let's get some honorable mentions out of the way. I have to just explain. So I planned this out as the top 5. There was a point in time when I considered going to top 15 because you realize how am I leaving? It's a very tough list to make, right? For I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan. If you were to make me say who's your top 5 Saturday Night Live castmates of all time, it'd be a very difficult list, right? Have to cut some of my favorites. So I said top 5 pivotal players for the UNC Duke. Who does this matchup hinge on? Who is it going to flip on? And I realized after I agonized over this list, Harrison Ingram's not on it. Harrison Ingram might be my favorite player to watch this year. Makes winning plays all over the place. Jared McCain isn't on it. Jared McCain might be my favorite freshman to watch this year. He is stone cold. Jeremy Roach isn't on this list, the veteran for Duke. Here's John Shire talking about Jeremy Roach's impact on Duke's basketball program.
Yeah, I'm just, I can't tell you how proud I am of him. He's, I said this the other day, but I'll double down on it. I don't know if there's a guy in our program's history from the timing that he's been here and what he's seen that's as important with the impact that he's made. You think about the transition with Coach K and myself, but then you think about, you go first 2 years, the spectrum, you miss a tournament and there's the pandemic with nobody in here. But then you go to a Final Four the next year. You win an ACC championship as a junior. He's played with a lot of different players, a lot of great players.
Didn't make the list. Has that kind of impact on the program. Didn't make the list.
Wow.
Who else didn't make the list? A whole bunch of them. I'm not going to list them all because that would, by process of elimination, you could find out who's on the list. But there were a lot of honorable mentions in this one, deserving just off the podium, just off the nominees list. We'll start with number 5. The number 5 most pivotal player in the UNC at Duke game on Saturday is Elliot Cadeau. Here's why Elliot Cadeau made the list over all of those players I mentioned. He is a freshman making his first start in a North Carolina uniform, in a Tar Heels uniform, in Cameron Indoor against Duke, and he handles the ball a ton, right? He's one of the calming presences, right? When RJ Davis is flamethrowing and launching, and when Armando Bacot's in the post, and when Harrison Ingram is out there on the wing, Elliot Cadeau has to be the one to decide how and when to get those guys the ball. And then on top of that, he's become more of a playmaker recently where it feels like his finishing around the rim, his layup package, has grown a ton in the last 3 weeks because he's driving into lane, he's absorbing contact, he's flipping it up with spin, with English off the glass, and he's finding ways to pick up those and ones, which has become something they've built off of. Now, do all of that in a top 10 on top 10 matchup against your bitter rival in their arena while they're chanting at you. And if you make a mistake, they're going to rub it in your face.
Hubert Davis also mentioned when speaking about Elliot Cadeau that he also just has God-given speed. One time after a game, Elliot Cadeau or during practice said, "Coach, what can I be doing to step up my game?" And Coach Davis looked at him and just said, "Keep driving to the basket. If I had speed like you as a freshman, I would just take it to the rack every single time."
The level of recruit he is, he's going to come in with certain raw abilities, right? It's kind of the only thing you guarantee about 5 stars is that they have certain physical abilities because you don't know how some of the skill and shooting and things are going to translate from high school to college and college to the pros. But, a miles per hour is a miles per hour. You know what I mean? A height is a height. A vertical jump is a vertical jump, no matter where and who is doing it. It's all the same, kind of track-like. So Cadeau, yeah, he can go. He can go. And a mistake at his position, a rough game from his position can change everything. That's why he's pivotal. Number 4, this time a Duke, maybe less or younger player. Shawn Stewart is number 4. Caleb Foster isn't playing, right? Which means Shawn Stewart has to play minutes. And it's one thing to be a young player playing in the Duke North Carolina game when you've played big minutes against Georgia Tech, and you've played big minutes against Wake, and you've played big minutes against NC State, and you've played big minutes against Boston College and Syracuse and Miami and Florida State, and you've played big minutes in all of these games throughout the year. So, yeah, is the rivalry a big deal? Yes, but maybe playing big minutes in college basketball isn't as big of a deal. Shawn Stewart, because of the Caleb Foster injury, is playing significantly more minutes than he's played recently, and he's going to have to do that again. This is how you know it's still new to him. When Shawn Stewart played, 17 minutes the other night, and played well and scored some buckets and had some block shots, this was against NC State. Post-game, guess what happened? He's getting interviewed about it, right? And it was actually Jared McCain doing the interview as kind of very team fun-oriented, like locker room media thing. And he was saying, like, hey, what was it like to get out there and contribute? What was it like to get out there, be on the floor more in the win? And guess who you don't ask that question of? Somebody who it's not a big deal that they played a lot of minutes, right? If you're out there playing 25 minutes a game and then you have a good game, no one's going like, what was it like to be on the floor? You talk more specifics. Shawn Stewart's still new to this, and now he's new to this and being depended upon to go out there and try to even the season series against North Carolina.
Well, also similar to that, like we saw in the NC State basketball game, if Kyle Filipowski and Ryan Young get in foul trouble, you're going to be asking a lot of your two freshman forwards, TJ Powell and Shawn Stewart, to play. Now, they were able to rise to the occasion in that NC State game, but in a big-time rivalry game like this, last game of the season, it's a lot of pressure for a freshman to be coming into.
Even if they don't get into that kind of foul trouble, I think Shawn Stewart's going to have to be out there. I'm not sure Shawn Stewart, and I've said this is not new information, is the springiest, twitchiest. When you mix size and athleticism, he's the most athletic guy on the Duke roster. So I'm not sure Ryan Young is somebody who you can trust to just match up with someone like Harrison Ingram or Armando Bacot and have it be an even deal when Duke is on defense. Shawn Stewart, if he's playing at the top of his level, has some of the physical traits that makes that more possible. I think he's going to have to play. And I think I'm not saying 25 minutes. I think he's going to have to play 15 to 18 minutes. And you can't lose 15 to 18 minutes just because, you have an inexperienced player out there. Pivotal for Shawn Stewart. Number 3, Armando Bacot. You knew he was going to be on here, right? Armando Bacot. He was the best player on the floor in their first meeting. He 25, 10, and 5. He is a player who's played in the biggest of games. He is a player who Duke didn't have an answer for. And I know Filipowski got some stats in that last game, but the difference was clear watching it, right? Armando Bacot was more effective. If he does that again, it's going to be very tough for Duke to get the win because you can build off of that, right? Because then, as we mentioned, the defenders have to show a little bit more attention down there, and that opens up the perimeter, and then there's driving lanes for Elliot Cadeau, shooting space for R.J. Davis and Harrison Ingram, and it builds from there. And, he's the all-time leading rebounder in North Carolina history. It's pretty good. Good top line of the resume. Number 2, most pivotal player in the UNC Duke matchup on Saturday, Kyle Filipowski. And I'm requesting, it's abstract. I'm requesting toughness. I'm done saying I need 20 and 10 from Filipowski because he's given me 20 and 10, meaning given the opponent 20 and 10 more than a few times this year where I still felt like I needed a little more. And it wasn't that I need more stats. It wasn't that I need more threes or I need more dunks. It was I needed more eye test, right? I needed more attitude, toughness. I need him to take on some personal challenges. That's what I'm looking for from Flip. Armando Bacot got the better of you last time. How many nights has that kept you up since? Right? Armando Bacot got the better of you last time. How many extra sprints did you run because of that? That's what I want to see come out in this game.
Don't forget, too small.
Yeah.
Too small. You got to take stuff like that personally.
That's a perfect example. And for those that didn't see it, too small is where you – I don't even know how to describe it. You like
for those looking on WRL Sports Plus, I'm kind of doing it right now.
You mime like patting a leprechaun on its head after you score on somebody, and what that means is they're too small to guard me. And that was the most old guy explanation of a taunt in the history of the world.
Matter of fact, not just Armando Bacot, but the whole Carolina bench. The whole Carolina bench was doing it right to you.
And it's even more, I would say, insulting when somebody who's 2 or 3 inches shorter than you does the too small to you, which is exactly what happened. Filipowski needs to be not just the future lottery pick off the Duke Blue Devils. He needs to be angry. He needs to be tough. He needs to be edgy. He needs to be sandpaper, not smooth. Sandpaper.
Blue still can't be doing that to you.
Number 1 is R.J. Davis. The most pivotal player in the UNC at Duke game is R.J. Davis, because I believe he is the most likely to go on a stretch that changes everything. He's most likely to, with 9 minutes left in the game, have it be Duke 61-59, and in the blink of an eye, it's UNC 70-61. Because he hit 2 threes and one of them was an and one, or 3 threes and one of them was an and one. Got to get my math right. He's the most likely. He's the ACC Player of the Year in my book. He's a guy that's comfortable taking big shots. He'll take shots even after, if he starts 2 of 11, you're still going to get 9 more shot attempts from R.J. Davis. I don't always agree with it, but he can both shoot North Carolina into a win and shoot North Carolina out of a win. And that's the definition of pivotal, right? And that's what he signed up for. It's in an era of college basketball when no one stays, he stayed, right? You go back and look at his recruiting class, there are some really good basketball players in that recruiting class for UNC. Transfer portal, first round pick. They're all gone except for R.J. Davis. He stayed to be the guy in this game to take the shot. If that's not pivotal, I don't know what is, right? He needs his Jimmy Chitwood moment, right? Game on the line, down the stretch, I'll make the shot.
Jerry Stackhouse moment at Cameron.
Yeah, Jerry we could go. That's a better example. I should have used
Danny Green.
A Capel moment, Danny Green moment, or on the flip side, an Austin Rivers moment. I should have used all from that rivalry rather than Jimmy Chitwood. But Hoosiers, who can be mad at Hoosiers? Graham's producing the show. I have to use movie references. R.J. Davis is going to have his chance to put his fingerprints for one more time on this rivalry. I think he's the most pivotal player in the game. Now, the hard part is, by the way, that's the 5. Number 5, Cadeau. Number 4, Stewart. Number 3, Bacot. Number 2, Filipowski. Number 1, R.J. Davis. Most pivotal players in the game on Saturday. The interesting part is how many of the others will contribute to those 5, right? Jared McCain wasn't on the list. Jared McCain might be guarding R.J. Davis. So indirectly, he's going to impact the most pivotal in the game. Right? Like I said, Mark Mitchell might be guarding Bacot at times. There you go, same thing. And making him work on the other end, which is going to have to happen. So it's all intertwined. It's the honorable mentions will impact those guys. But for my money, those are the ones. Those 5 guys are who this matchup hinges on.